Hail, friend. My name is Biawin Warmouth, Chief of the Whiterun Guard. You're here on a pretty lengthy list of charges, so we'll need to read over that, and then we'll discuss your options. Alright, sweetheart, let's go through your inventory. No, it's okay. You did the right thing by turning yourself in so we can sort this out. We already confiscated your weapons and armor, so all that's left is to sort out your belongings. Don't worry, nothing you have in here could possibly surprise me. I've been doing this a while, so I've pretty much seen everything. Okay, so it looks like you've got a little bag of some kind of grainy substance. It looks like an apothecary salt. Frost salts. Pretty. A couple of ice wraith teeth. A silver garnet necklace. Did you make this? Adrian says you dabble in smithing. It's lovely. A heart. Okay, a human heart. We'll just put that away. A potion of increased stamina. I always like the shade of green that these are. It's so pretty. Another heart. A Daedra heart this time. That's good. It's valuable. Alright, I'll put it with the other one. Right there. Two hearts next to each other. The way, the way the divines made it. A mask looks like. I recognize this. This is the mask of Clavicus Vile, isn't it? Incredible. It's so ugly in a beautiful way. A precious, infamous Daedric artifact. Don't worry, sweetheart. You'll get it back eventually. I don't want anything to do with the Daedra. Neither do any of the other Whiterun guards. So you got nothing to worry about. An amulet of Stendarr. That's pretty interesting, considering his followers' staunch anti-Daedra stance. And here's some kind of mystery flesh. I'm going to make an assumption here, and it's a generous assumption, that this is venison or beef, and we're not going to ask any questions about it. How about that? book. The Lusty Argonian Maid. Signed copy. Impressive. Last but not least, a wolf pelt. So soft and warm. Now, I promise you'll get everything back once this is over. Right now, we're going to go over exactly what the charges are against you, and then we can talk about what you can do next. So, you were caught pickpocketing a shopkeeper at the Drunken Huntsman, the Bosmer Honoriath. And when his brother Elrendir drew his knife on you, your follower drew her warhammer and smashed his head in. Since she, Uthgerd the Unbroken, was under your employ at the time, you've been charged with 1 count of manslaughter. Don't argue with that, sweetheart. Of course, that alone doesn't prove you're at fault for this particular killing, but the events that followed definitely suggest you were at least a willing, well, very willing accomplice. So, once guards were called to arrest Uthgerd and yourself, you resisted arrest. No, sweetie, you can't dispute that either. You were heard screaming, "I'd rather die than go to prison." And the arresting officer is still recovering at the Temple of Kinnereth from the broken jawbone he received when you clocked him in the face. So that's 1 count of assaulting an officer. Then you and your friend Uthgerd fled on foot, leading 10 guards at this point in time on a ground chase through the city. You then broke and entered into Belethor's general goods store in an attempt to evade arrest, and were witnessed by Belethor's employee, Sigurd, quote unquote, shoving all 20 health potions on display into your bag, as well as every single wheel of cheese in the building, so deftly and quickly locating each cheese wheel as it was as if you had been planning this for years. So 1 count of premeditated grand theft Idar. You evaded arrest a second time by running out the back door, barreling into said employee and knocking him into a shelf, breaking several expensive items. 1 more count, property damage. You were met near the city gate by Vignar Greymane, whom you engaged in a knife fight. 1 count of assault. It is believed that at this point you and your follower Uthgerd were separated. Uthgerd was later apprehended a mile away at the Battleborn farm. Vignar did not die from his wounds due to the arrival of another platoon of guards at that moment, who chased you out of the gate. So, from these crimes, the bounty on your head is 1,695 gold. But I'm not finished yet, sweetie. There's more. As soon as you were outside the gate, you were witnessed by the stable master, his family, and all the guards stationed outside, transforming into what was described as an ungodly abomination reeking of undeath and corruption astride wings of bone and gray feather, which swooped about as the dragons do and sucked the very souls out of men as they stood, killing 4 guards. That is 1,000 on each count of murder and another 1,000 for being an unholy horror. What? No, you can't argue self-defense on this one. First of all, there's the matter of fact that you willingly engaged in violent confrontation with the police. That's on you, sweetie. Second of all, technically in Whiterun, self-defense is defined as defense of one's life or property. And in this case, because we know you are an undead monstrosity, you technically have no life to defend. If we want to get really particular, you can neither possess property, as it should all be passed on to your next of kin. And, let's see. Your next of kin is listed as Uthgerd. Well, that's good for you at least. Multiple witnesses in the hold report seeing you flying around Whiterun and Riverwood for the rest of the night, harassing farmers and attacking livestock. 5 more counts of property damage there. The Silent Moon Bandit camp was attacked by a rampaging vampire lord who completely leveled the operation during the night, which is not criminal and actually very helpful, but it still makes you look bad. The Dawn Guard intervened outside of the camp, and you committed 1 count of decapitating a member of the Dawn Guard and drinking the blood from his stump neck, which is a criminal charge we had to invent just for you. Congratulations. 5 more counts of murder. And we're pretty sure that Dawn Guard members are technically clergy, because they are an offshoot of the Vigil of Stendar, which puts extra gold on each killing. You then fled outside our jurisdiction for a few hours. Had you never returned to Whiterun Hold, you might have never been punished for your crimes, but you did return in the mid-afternoon of the next day. And it looks like you just returned to the Drunken Huntsman, which was, at the time, still a crime scene under active investigation, hid underneath a table, and shot the surviving brother Honoriath through the neck with a poisoned arrow. It seemed like you were trying to commit a stealth killing. We are very unsure why you were trying to be stealthy now. In any case, you were caught at the scene of the crime by guards investigating the previous crime, and you turned yourself in peacefully this time. You say you're with the Dark Brotherhood. You were fulfilling a contract. Sorry, sweetie. Unless we get one of those creepy anonymous black hand letters requesting your release, there's nothing we can do. Additionally, Unlike the Thieves Guild, the Dark Brotherhood is not known for protecting its members that get caught, especially in this type of case. The reason we try to look the other way where the Dark Brotherhood is concerned is that if we pry too deep or cause too much of a problem for them, we end up with hits on us. And that's a problem because it's generally understood that the Dark Brotherhood is an all-powerful organization that can strike at any time from anywhere without getting caught. And your murders were just so badly planned and executed, and you turned yourself in. So call me crazy, but I don't think the Brotherhood is going to come to your rescue on this one. So legal is still trying to figure out exactly how much gold your extensive crimes are worth. At least 15,095 gold. Now normally you would be publicly and painfully put to death in the square. It's my understanding that you already evaded execution at least once here in Skyrim because you were caught crossing the border illegally. We have a lot more reason to publicly execute you. Now, the usual policy with vampires is just immediate death, no questions asked. And we're not completely sure what you are, some sort of super vampire. But everybody's pretty sure your existence is an affront to the gods, as well as a danger to every decent citizen of Tamriel. But you do have some things going for you. First of all, you're the Dragonborn. That doesn't get you off the hook, hon, but it does mean we're going to give you the opportunity to pay off your admittedly outrageous bounty. It would be a pretty stupid and anticlimactic ending to the Bardic Ballads if the Dragonborn got the death penalty for unrelated and seemingly random crimes in Whiterun. And yes, we've heard the rumor that only a Dragonborn can save the world. And perhaps that factors into your foregoing execution, but don't read too much into it. We're not all so superstitious. Second of all, you're the Thane of Whiterun. That's a much bigger deal to us. You hold a position of tremendous honor in this hold, which you earned fairly and justly through good deeds and service to the people of Whiterun. Your housecarl, Lydia, has already come forward to testify on your behalf and has put up all her belongings as bail. What a sweet woman. She swears on her own life and all the divines that you are not and cannot be a vampire because of your kind and polite demeanor, outstanding service to Whiterun, and other holds, and the fact that she has seen you walk in the sun and enter sacred spaces such as the Temple of Kinnereth. Now, we know for a fact that she is mistaken, but she gave such a passionate testimony that all of the guards were moved. The clergy at the Temple of Kinnereth have also come forward on your behalf. You returned the sacred tree to full bloom, which is a service of immeasurable charity and goodness. The beggars on the streets are also grateful for your consistent kindness. Every day, you pass them and give them a coin, no matter how wretched they seem. Adrienne Avenici says you are her favorite customer, as well as a promising student. In fact, many of the weapons and armor you've sold her have been sold to Whiterun guards. Our steel hasn't been so strong in years. In fact, it seems everybody in the city has something nice to say about you. Isolda, Janasa, Sadia, Carlotta, of birth, everyone. And even those who you haven't personally helped with something or another are grateful to you for your protection against the dragons. Last, but certainly not least, Jarl Balgruff considers you a personal friend. And it would be very embarrassing for him for it to go on record that his treasured Thane is not only a vampire, but also a pickpocket, thief, and a murderer. So here's the deal we're willing to hash out. If you can pay your entire bounty plus a little extra for our troubles, we guards are completely willing to orchestrate a cover-up on your behalf. We're not trying to extort you. Not very much, at least. You'll need your bounty money to pay off all the witnesses, replace the items and livestock you stole or damaged, pay for the funerals of the guards you and your follower murdered, as well as compensating their families for their losses. And as a do-gooder yourself, I'm sure you won't mind donating a hefty annual sum to the Temple of Kinnereth every year for the rest of your hopefully long, long existence, as well as the Whiterun Guards Public Service Fund. I'm not worried about you being able to make this payment. It's no secret that you're a fairly well-to-do person. I understand you own houses in multiple holds, and if worst comes to worst, you can liquidate your assets. You could let Lydia pay a small part of this fee. Your friend Uthgerd was also willing to help pay into your fine. She was more willing to pay for you than for herself. You have such loyal friends, and I think it would be a shame to let them give up their entire life savings on your behalf. So, this is just a suggestion on my part, but I think you should pay us the entire sum up front and have the funds returned to your friends, and treat them to a nice dinner and a stein of mead at the Bannered Mare. You should be grateful, sweetheart. There's a lot of love and good people in your life. You've made at least as many friends as you've made enemies, and done about as much good as you've done evil, which is more than can be said for a lot of people. The Whiterun Guard just needs to know that you, in all your frightening power, gonna be more of an asset than a threat. No more thievery, no more murders, no more flesh, no more getting caught. And it'll be easy to keep up the lie that the Thane of Whiterun is a vampire lord is an outrageous rumor, as long as you never, ever, ever shapeshift like that in front of a Whiterun citizen ever again. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, sweetie. And I hope both of us will enjoy working together for the foreseeable future.